So we've been a little tardy getting videos out on time these last few weeks, and well, there have been a few reasons for that. Mostly winter, rain, fog, and the damp low temperatures have hampered our progress. We've had a poorly Tim.
And action!
I can hear your stomach.
I can hear my stomach from there. Yeah, sorry about that. I've been a bit slack the last few days. I've had a really bad stomachache.
Don't worry, he's better now.
Right.
And we've been distracted by other, less exciting challenges. This isn't the truck. Which have demanded our attention. We've used the time to plan ahead, ordering the things we need for some zinc plating. Industrial drain cleaner. Next episode, subscribe so you don't miss it. But mostly we've just been trying to figure out what we're doing with the headlining. You might remember Tim fixing these battens in place inside the cab a while ago. Well, now we've been chin deep in phase 2 of this particular project, and it's given us a right old time. How grumpy you're being.
I'm not being grumpy, I hate it.
So in this week's video, we'll be showing you just how tricky some of these problems are to solve, as we find a way to make a lightweight moulded headliner made up of wooden slats. We are Lisa and Tim, and this is the story of us attempting to build the world's greatest adventure mobile on the world's smallest budget. We've got, 3 different blocks of wood here at the moment. This massive great beam here. What looks like a really pale piece of wood that's already been kind of trimmed off a little bit. And we're making strips like this to fix to the battens in the roof. Using a template here to create the curve on it, which we will show you how we're doing this in the video.
Badly.
It's given us quite a lot of headaches. We spent the whole day yesterday basically trying to bend this.
Any comments for how this could be done better would be greatly appreciated. Tim, what you should do is you should build a box you can fill up with steam. Use an old paint strip or a steamer. That's a good idea. Yeah, but it's not as good as fun as looking at someone trying to bend a piece of wood with a kettle, though, isn't it?
So, using the form which Tim had made to fit perfectly inside the curve of the cab roof, we were now attempting to figure out how we could bend and shape various types of wood to that exact shape, then make them hold that shape forever, whilst also being light in weight and of course to look really nice too. And at this point, it wasn't going well.
A mess.
Tell them.
Tell them what?
How grumpy you're being.
I'm not being grumpy, I hate it.
Drink your tea. Sort yourself out.
Some wood steam better than others. This bit here doesn't want to bend, and when it does bend, it doesn't want to hold its shape. I don't think about what's possible, what people do. It's like what I would like, and what I'd like to do. That's the goal. And then it's a case of, yeah, about how the heck do we do it?
So how we think we're going to approach this now, which we've literally just decided in the last few minutes, is we're just going to start by sanding some of this wood off to see what it looks like, and then we're actually going to try steaming the different kinds of wood we got here just to see how that works. And once we're satisfied with that,
If it works.
we're going to cut the strips and create the pattern that we are aiming for, and then we will cut and steam each piece of wood one by one, which could really take possibly about a month to do because you have to do it one at a time. So,
yeah,
but we can.
Inside of the roof is 68 inches, and as you can imagine, this is just like 3 inches here. That's it's 20 odd whatever pieces of wood.
34 pieces that we need.
It was 34 pieces if it was Yeah, if it was 2 inches wide, but these are actually a little bit wider, so I've overestimated. But anyway, the trouble as well is that we're cutting these bits of wood out to about 2 or 3 millimetres thick, but every time we run them in the saw, because of the curve or the thickness of the blade on the saw, that also loses us 3 millimetres. So each piece is about 7 millimetres bits worth of wood, plus the sanding as well, so it's a bit more we lose.
Now you'll probably see all this in one video, so it'll all be done in like 20-30 minutes for you, but this, we know, is going to take us at least a month.
It's going to be complicated, yeah.
We don't do anything easy.
Another slight problem as well is that this is made to the shape of the centre of the roof, right down the middle bit, but as it gets towards the edges, it gets narrower, so not only does it bend that way, it kind of curves around at the front and the back, and it bends over at the ends. I have no idea how we do that. About
3 or 4 weeks from now, we're going to be like, should we carpet it?
Yeah. So you're going to go and sand these down?
I'm going to get my power tool out, and I'm going to do a bit of sanding.
Right, let's get on with
So let's get started with this massive.
I'm going to make a Mark II version of this,
okay.
And you can sand that down. We'll see you later.
If I had a car, we drive down to the ocean. You call it Elmore.
Our vision for the cab ceiling, at this point probably only visible to us, is to create a real wood headliner, reminiscent of an old box crate, stamped or painted with our Old Rope Salvage logo, which you will be able to see when looking up into the cab from outside. It's tricky, but we're determined to figure out how to do it. It's a bit of a challenge, and at this point we were just problem solving and modifying and trying not to use too much electricity.
Apparently Cornwall is experiencing higher humidity than normally would be expected at this time of year. What
What are we doing?
We're making some formers for our wood to bend round. So we've got the inner side piece. We're just going to experiment and make a bit that goes on the outside so that we'll be able to clamp it up to it.
So having quickly realised that our initial attempts were failing, Tim had the idea of creating some extra forms to sit on top of the wooden slats whilst they were being shaped and moulded. But of course, we first had to steam, shape and mould the forms themselves. It was all pretty boring, it took ages, and there was no guarantee that any of it was going to work. But if it did work, it meant that this extra effort now would make the process going forward that much easier. Like most things, it's all in the planning.
Right, let's see if it's stuck to it how it's supposed to be. The idea is, I guess it stays the same shape. It's not bad. That's pretty cool. That means that now when we get our piece of wood, steam it up, and then when we're clamping it down, we'll be able to use this to sort of also then when we put the foam on it, we'll be able to like squeeze it up and get it right on the edges as well as in the middle. I think best thing to do is probably try it out. So I've got to make one for the other side, and then even if we have to shorten this gradually as we go, they'll still work because the curve should be the same. Cool.
To make matters extra challenging, our table saw is set, due to its safety features, to cut only up to 85mm. So we also had to trim the end off of our first block of wood before we could even begin. We asked around about maybe borrowing a bandsaw, but decided it wouldn't make much of a difference. So after a bit of umming and huffing, we were eventually able to get our first experimental piece of wood clamped into the shape on form.
Okay, I'm just, this is extruded oh god, I get it right. Extruded polystyrene foam, cutting it into strips that are the same width as the wooden pieces that we're using, and these are going to get glued to the strips of wood. It will all become plain as mud later. Next day, after gluing this up and leaving it overnight, we just gluing down the foam onto the wooden board. Left it overnight so to allow the wood to dry out in this shape. And this morning, I guess I'm gonna get some fiberglass out and try laminating it. I've never used this sort of stuff before, so it'll be a bit of an experience to see how that works. But I guess the first thing to do is get all these clamps off and see if it held any of its shape. I'm not expecting it to really, but it would be good if it did a bit. Using every single clamp I have. Just get these off. So, has it kept any shape or not? Not really. A little bit. Well, when it comes to fiberglassing this up, I'll have to give it a little bit of a sand down. It has got a bit of the shape, and obviously we won't be breaking the wood this time, so I can lay this on, and the idea is hopefully it's going to sit in the middle okay, and just clamp it right on the ends, beyond where I actually need it. Might have to do something about holding the middle bit down, but basically then laying in fiberglass over this.
It's all experimental, of course, figuring out what works and what doesn't, but the idea of using the foam and fiberglass instead of, say, layers of ply as we did with the battens is for several reasons. They add considerable strength to the thin, flimsy pieces of wood, they help the wood to firmly hold the right shape, and both are very lightweight. It is also our first attempt at using layers of fiberglass and composite materials. And maybe most importantly, to us at least, is that we are attempting to learn a technique which we are planning on using extensively in the future. We will go into detail with this soon, so watch this space.
That's the first time I've ever laminated fiberglassed anything. I think I've got a bit of learning to do here. That's what it's all about, I suppose. We're going to leave this to set now. I don't know if I'm supposed to scrape off as much of the epoxy as I can or not. Don't know. And I don't know if one layer of this stuff is going to do anything. I'll wait till it sets, take it off and see if it's done anything. If not, maybe I'll have to do more than one layer. It's good learning new things. Hopefully it'll work. But if it doesn't work, we learn. 2 layers of fiberglass over this, put them in with the resin and everything, and the temperature was just a little tiny bit higher, and it seems to have made quite a bit of difference. Also, I put some of this backing from our soundproofing, which is a bit, I'm hoping it's not stuck to the epoxy. So there's a loads of tests here, and we also used our bent bits of wood that we used to curve the wood in the first place to kind of press the fiberglass down and keep its shape. So I don't know, it could all, maybe this stuck to it completely, maybe it's just going to ping back straight again. I don't know. That's what we're here for, to take these off and see what happens. And so this is the point. Is it going to ping up? I am a little bit nervous about this. That one's gone a little tiny bit, but.
How long has it been clamped down for there? About a month.
2 days.
Oh, really? Are you sure about that?
Maybe 3. Bit crinkly there. That's actually pretty. This has. I can reuse that. Well, there you go. That's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? This stuff has really pressed it down nicely. That is way, way better. It still doesn't hardly weigh anything. And it actually is the shape of the roof. That's really cool.
We have a success. That is actually weighs nothing, doesn't it?
It's amazing.
It weighs nothing.
I've made it a bit too long, so we've got a bit of trimmage. We'll see how it fits in there and how it looks. And yeah, that's, I guess, would be our first one. So yeah, that's cool. And then as these going to get a bit smaller, we'll just take a bit off the form each time to make it a little bit brilliant.
Just have to hope it fits now. Alright.
Hey, right. Well, let's just make I don't know, a few more of these, and then try and work out how to fit them in. Brilliant. This is the second one. I learnt a few things off doing the first one, so the second one has definitely been easier. But until I uncover it and see if it's actually worked, you know, being easier is no good if it hasn't worked. So let's get this all undone and see if it's kept its shape and how it's looking. What I've done again, like the other one, is I've put all the fiberglass on it. I've not taken the piece of wood out of the form. Even when the foam got glued to it, I kept it in there, and I haven't taken it out this time, hoping it like stick precisely to the shape. So there's a screw holding it right down on this end, and a clamp right down on this end, and they're just holding it tight in there. And then I've done the fiberglass over, and I'm able to use my forms that I made before. So yeah, this is it really. Just looking good. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's marvellous. It's actually kept the shape absolutely perfectly at this end, and it's just a little bit, I mean, you can press it down, but it's just lifting the tiny bit there. But that is pretty good. A little bit of trimming up and board number 2.
Did my chores and made my bed 'cause I'm supposed to. Cleaned my room, obeyed my dad 'cause I'm supposed to. I raised my hand and waited.
After the relative success of the first 2 roof slats going in, I need some more wood, and the big chunk that we've chosen, got to start cleaning it up a little bit. I've filled in a couple of the holes that were drilled in it, and with some broom handle. There's a couple, or one in the middle, which is a really big one that I think I'm going to repair or fix up as we slice it up. So that's what I'm working on. I'm just taking out some of the bumps in it and getting it a bit smooth so that when it cuts through the saw table it's kind of even. It doesn't matter if it's a bit warped because we're bending the wood anyway, and then, you know, see I can straighten it up on the length bits. But if there's like undulations, it'll make it go thin. And also I've just realised that I can't put this through the saw table because this is about 100mm thick and the saw will only cut 85mm. Yeah, so I've got to cut the corner off it. I guess that would work. I guess I'm going to do it this way. Clean this up, get it level, cut the a corner off it, so that it's only 80 down to the 85. Cut a couple of slices off one side, then I'll be able to slice it the other way. Here.
I finished school at the age of 18 'cause I'm supposed to. I kept on, got a college degree 'cause I'm supposed to. Got a job working 9 to 5 'cause I'm supposed to. Bought a ring, got me a wife 'cause I'm supposed to.
Roof slat number 3. And this is a slightly different wood to the first wood. The problem we've got is we haven't got enough of one type of wood to do the whole of the roof. So we've got this other bit, which is a massive chunk of like Douglas fir that used to be part of the Navy docks or pontoons, as far as I know. The trouble with it is, it's far more interesting. It's got this really good grain on it, and it's got huge staining from where the bolts have gone through it, and it's been covered with stuff. I've been looking at it this morning, and it might just be way over the top. When you put a bit of oil or anything on it, it's beautiful, but I don't know, it's too much. So we started off with this one, which is what we were going to use. Boring. Got this bit, which is what I used to make the 2 pieces we've already done, which is quite nice, but we just haven't got enough of it. This stuff, it's mental. That's without any like oils or anything on it. Anyway, that's what we got in here. I'm going to try it out, but I might be having a second thought on this and might have to go and find another whole piece of wood. Anyway, I'll strip this off and see what it looks like.
Well, I didn't sleep a wink last night. Work's drying up and money's tight, though I followed this old script line by line. This whole thing was a lousy bet. There's holes all in my
So this is the third one, and these all might be thrown away because they might not match with the new wood that we select for it. Because like I say, it's got to be, I think, one type of wood to go through it all, or at least something that could look pretty close. Everything we've got here, it takes a stain in a completely different way, and I don't know, it's all decisions. Let's have a look, see what we've got. This stuff's it's amazing. Well, that's good, isn't it? That is getting pretty good. It's exactly perfect fitting on there. That's amazing. I'm getting better at this. That looks pretty cool. Look at that. It's nice, isn't it? Right, so let's throw that away in the bin because we've had a slight change of plans.
doing everything that I supposed to.
It's a massive chunk of oak. I had originally planned not to use this because it's really heavy, but these things are turning out to be a lot lighter than I thought, and even with like a 2 millimeters of oak thickness, they can't weigh that much. Giving it a quick clean up, looks quite nice inside. But yeah, basically this is an old keel of an old boat. A very interesting boat, which I might have to talk about in the future. But I think we might have just found a new bit of wood. You know, an oak headliner. Gotta chuck these three away though.
Go to church every 7 days 'cause it's supposed to.
Well, you could look at this as being like quite a few days of wasted time, but it's all good. I've learned so much. It's been really good practice for using the fiberglass and the epoxy, bits of the foam. I think it's amazing. They're so lightweight, strong, and are now workable. We'll junk these two, and maybe now we've got this new massive chunk.
We were just talking ourselves privately before we switched cameras on about doing all of this and whether it's kind of worth our time and everything. We feel that it is, because we could do this all half-heartedly or quickly and you know, make probably a pretty decent job of it, but we really want to create something amazing, something true to us that's kind of just goes the distance with the effort really and the beauty. And
we could have had carpet in here in like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So.
But we have a vision for it and we think it will be worth it. So we'll show you the second half of the headliner, hopefully when it's completed.
In a few months' time.
Yeah, it might be a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe hit that subscribe button, because that would be really, really great. And we'll hopefully see you back here very shortly with some zinc plating, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that'll be the next
I reckon
thing.
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so we look forward to that.
Yeah, so in the meantime, well, see you later.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. The wave.
The wave. Bye.
Bye.
It's gonna look epic. Epic.
An epic room.
Epic room.
Didn't think this was what I was supposed to get. By doing everything I was supposed to.